something that's, I think, going to be talked about over the next few days. Kevin Durant, this seems to be gaining some momentum. There's like 3 teams now that Kevin Durant seems to be, I should say that he's honing in on, but that Phoenix would be honing in on for him and for them based on what the teams can offer. But the Heat is one of those teams. I also saw, I think it was DraftKings has, it was either DraftKings or FanDuel, has the Heat as the favorites to land Russell Westbrook. There's some activity going on. I mean, you could reunite Durant and Westbrook.
10 years too late. Let's see what the Marx brothers can do out there on the field now.
I mean, I did see people tweeting, like, or actual reporters, like, if you add Kevin Durant to Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, let's say you can keep them all, and that's your new big 3. Is that, and I know we talked about it last week, but there are people who have different ideas. Is that enough to win the East? Durant, Bam, Tyler.
I'm torn on this because it's crazy. You kept saying last week, Hawk, we're acting like Kevin Durant is a third-string guard somewhere, and we're adding him to a package. He's a Hall of Famer. But we watched Brooklyn, and we watched Phoenix. Phoenix didn't even make the playoffs. So that's what gives me a little indecision about the trade.
So, Lana, where do you stand on all this? Where do you stand on Brad Marchand, and where do you stand on Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook?
Brad Marchand might be the greatest South Florida sports athlete of all time. Like, I don't believe I could go back on my Brad Marchand take and not look at it and say I am moronic. The fact that you guys did not fire me for that is,
Well, you didn't say it on the air. You only said it via text, and I did share it again after the game. He texted, is this Marchand guy, do we even know if he's any good? I foresee him being a playoff bum. And he might win the Conn Smythe.
Yeah, he might. He probably should. Him or Sam Bennett.
So it's either him or Sam Bennett. I had that future on Sergei Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe, $50 at plus 1,500. And the offer that they're offering me now is $5.06. So Sergei Bobrovsky is not going to win the Conn Smythe.
No.
Now, I will tell you, I put in a bet on Brad Marchand to win it at plus 450. Sam Bennett is the odds-on favorite at like minus 150 or something. I'm taking a flyer on Marchand at plus 450. He keeps scoring goals. The story itself of him leaving Boston, coming to a rival, and maybe being the best postseason player in the NHL. Like, I'm taking a flyer on plus 450. I put it in yesterday.
And I would miss a goal with empty netter from 4 feet. So I'm not taking it for granted what these guys do. But Marchand's not getting an assist across and the goalie's running back. Off the face-off, he's grabbing the puck, jumping over people's sticks, flipping it through his legs and scoring. Like, the optics of it, he should win the damn Conn Smythe.
He looks amazing. He looks amazing.
He's 37?
Is he 37 and Durant 37? Are they both 37?
I believe Marchand is 36. 36 years old.
How old's Durant?
30. Oh, no. Marchand's 37. You're right, Crowder.
Yeah.
37. He just turned 37. He just turned 37.
Durant's hairline is 82.
Durant.
How old is he, though?
Durant is 36, but he turns 37 late September.
That would be kind of funny. Have 2 37-year-old superstars on your hockey and basketball teams.
We're getting all the AARP teams. Come on, guys. We're in Florida, too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
What bothers me about the Durant thing is people now are saying, forget Durant, tank, blow it all up. And I can't, I understand it. Hey, even with Kevin Durant, are you really going to win a title? And I don't know, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, and you're going to be locked into him for the next year or two after that.
2 seasons, for sure. He wants
50 plus mil.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I understand why that's worrisome. And
And there are people saying, hey, that's the money you could have given to Jimmy Butler and kept him here.
Right, but Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant at this stage, if you're choosing Jimmy over Kevin Durant, you got to get your head examined. You have to. The Miami Heat need scoring. For 20 years, since Dwayne Wade wasn't prime Dwayne Wade anymore, what have the Heat missed? It's somebody who can score the basketball. I said 20, really like 10 years. Score the basketball efficiently. They have potentially a superstar in Kevin Durant that wants to come here. And all the conversation is like, no, forget that. Let's tank. It is so easy to sit on Twitter and say, hey, blow it all up. Let's be bad for 5 years so we can be like Oklahoma City. It is so easy to do that year in, year out. And you know what? Maybe it is the right move, especially since Desmond Bane's getting 4 first-round picks to just blow it all up. But the Heat aren't going to do it. So why are we acting like that's the only move that Miami needs to make?
Well, it's not the only move. I mean, it's not the only move, but there is a valid argument to make for sure. Keep putting Band-Aids, you keep taping a wall that is falling down, and at some point there's just diminished returns on that. Like at some point you got to tear it down and build a new wall.
But it's easy to just assume that everybody can do what Oklahoma City did. Go look at Oklahoma City after they traded Russell Westbrook to Houston. I mean, that's a long process. And they got lucky. SGA got gifted to them. Like that, you know how many teams the Sixers spent 2 decades trying to do that? And all they've gotten is bum-ass Joel Embiid. Like, it is hard to do that. It's easy now to just say, blow it up, trade Bam for 5 first-round picks. And then the next 3 seasons, Bam Adebayo's winning titles somewhere else or helping teams contend somewhere else. Kevin Durant maybe hoists a trophy with Minnesota, and you're sitting here with a bunch of first-round picks and multiple 15, 16-win seasons. Like, that is a hard process. And people don't realize that. They just want assets. Give me first-round picks. I want picks. I want picks. Well, no, you can have Kevin Durant. You can have him.
And two parts. I've heard that too, Solana. If you want me to pepper spray you, say, if you're going to pay Durant, you might as well pay Jimmy Butler. I'm going to shoot you with bear spray in your eyes. That is the craziest thing in the world. Kevin Durant's a Hall of Famer. Jimmy's not nowhere close to Kevin Durant's skill set. And then this blow-up thing, is that the thought of it? Is trade Bam, get as much you can back for Bam, trade Tyler? Because they're not going to sit around here and play for no reason to be the 10 seed every year either. They'll know, and the Heat culture, they're going to know that we're not trying to win. I don't think Riley and Spo would know how to damn tank. They went 41-41 with James Johnson.
It's not, I mean, you guys are using the term tank. It's not tank. It's just restarting everything. I mean, there's a difference between tanking and saying, no, we got to rebuild. Because rebuilding isn't tanking. It's acknowledging you're not going to be competitive for a little bit. But I just want to say there's a difference between tanking and rebuilding.
Right.
But they may say, you know what? If we're going to grind our wheels for the next 3 seasons, because we don't think Kevin Durant, if we have to give up everything in order to get him, and we don't think it's a championship roster, we're going to grind our wheels for 3 seasons. Should we do that and be ready with what we think could be a championship team through the draft and all the assets that we acquire? Or should we do that and just kind of hope that something magical happens, but then at the end of 3 seasons, you're still kind of exactly where you are because you've got expiring contracts of older players who maybe haven't won you a championship? For me, it's a very difficult call to make. It's not as easy as, hey, do you want to be competitive or do you want to tank? To me, it's much greater than that.
But what they've shown us through the big 3, then with Jimmy Butler going to 2 championships, even though we lost, winning the East. Now, we saw last year what Bam, Tyler, Wiggins, those guys could do. We watched it. Now, no Jimmy. We're going to go into another year with Bam, Tyler, and Wiggins and them, Hacky Lackey Jr. and all these guys.
No. You would not. You would not. You would trade Bam for picks. You would trade Tyler for picks. You would start the rebuild. The question is, we're here in 2025. The question is, when you get to 2028, what's going to have happened over the past 3 years, right? Have you done anything with, hey, let's go get an aging superstar? Are they anything better than the 5 seed, the 4 seed, the 3 seed? Maybe they go 2 rounds in the playoffs. And then at the end of 3 seasons, you're nowhere near anywhere because you don't have enough. You haven't been bad enough to get good draft picks. You don't have anything left of value to trade. Or when you get to 2028, do you want to have had 4 quality first round draft picks and maybe the opportunity to trade for Ja Morant or like that? That's the question. It's not like, hey, do we want to? No one is saying run it back with Bam, Wiggins, and Tyler. It's either tear it down to the foundation and start building up again because we think in 2028 we are OKC, or let's get an aging superstar because we think between now and 2028 we'll be able to put together a miracle run to the finals again.
And it truly is a fair assessment of what should be on the table. I believe it is. Potentially reset. Desmond Bane's getting 4 first-round picks. What would Bam get? And how quickly can you stockpile picks to be able to trade for superstars? Look at Luka Doncic. Look at Desmond Bane. Like, I'm not saying it's a dumb approach, Hawk. I'm with you. Should the Heat consider it if they can't get Kevin Durant? Absolutely. But you know what else I'm watching? The Indiana Pacers with a roster that 8 months ago nobody would have told me had championship aspirations. Nobody would have said they have title aspirations. And when they traded 3 first-round picks for Pascal Siakam, nobody said, hey, that's going to elevate them to go be back in the NBA Finals. And you know what gets you closer to competing? Kevin Durant. It gets you closer, and then who knows what happens?
Well, again,
Maybe
the
somebody
question
else
for
wants to come
Riley is,
here.
do we want to be closer or do we want to feel like we've put it together?
Yeah.
But this is the thing too to that, and this is my point. I understand what you're saying, the tank or rebuild or reload and all the. Riley does this in his postseason press conference. He uses a bunch of cute words to say what they're going to do. Starting lineup next year is Khalil Ware, Davion Mitchell, Pella Larson, and Haywood Highsmith. Maybe throw Alejandro Solana in there. Like we're going to take the court with that.
Well, I mean that's the option. There's 2 options. Add an aging superstar who you can get. You can't get anyone other than Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook. They're not available. So you have 2 options. Add an aging superstar to who you have, or take the court with what you just said. I mean, that's the only 2. Because the other option will be to run it back with Bam and Tyler.
Do you move one? Could you move one, or you just go? Because Duncan's gone, right?
You gotta either jump in head first, or you can't keep middling here. You can't keep riding the fence. Like you gotta do one or the other. You're squirreling.
I want to squirrel it.
Well,
we can keep Bam around and just see what happens.
Okay, but I'll tell you what. The Miami Heat, in my opinion, I'm not saying a source. I'm telling you, I don't see the Miami Heat trading Bam Adebayo.
Neither do I.
Unless it was for Giannis. Like there's right. Outliers, but for what's at play right now, what's on the table, I don't see Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Eric.
What about for 4 first-round picks?
No, I don't because
that's fair.
They have chosen him to be the next culture bearer, the next face of the franchise. Whether or not you think he's talented enough is another question. That's who they chose. They hand-selected. They don't take that bleep lightly, man. Like, they believe in that stuff. Psychologically, they believe in it. They're not just going to turn around and say, hey, you know what? We missed on Kevin Durant. We're pressing a reset button here. We're trading you to Sacramento for 5 first-round picks. They don't function that way. They just don't. Could they trade Tyler? Absolutely, for first-round picks. Could they trade Andrew Wiggins elsewhere for picks? Absolutely. I could see all that playing out. The one I have a hard time believing is Bam Adebayo, because this organization functions a certain way. They wouldn't have traded Udonis Haslem. They're not trading Bam Adebayo, man. I just don't see it.